Welcome to another ZX Spectrum versus Commodore 64 comparison video, as I like to call it. What do I like to call it? Balls.
Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long goes 1975. A YouTuber is on the rise, reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long goes 1975.
Welcome to another ZX Spectrum versus Commodore 64 comparison video, or as I like to call it, Playground Wars. In this video we'll be taking a look at one of my favourite Sega arcade machines of all time, and a kind of gameplay I've been kind of putting off because back in the day I could complete this, but the controls really do take some getting used to, because even on keyboard, which I can't get it to work, maybe that's an emulation thing, it is tricky, because obviously you had an accelerate and slow down control in the arcade, and your sort of pitch and turning left and turning right was on a different joystick. It does not make it unplayable. It's probably going to make this gameplay, at least on the Spectrum version, look a bit, well, it's not going to look pants, it's going to make me look pants at playing it. But I had to include this because, as you know, I'm trying to do as many of the Sega sprite skaters as I could, especially because they're running on 8-bit hardware, and this shows up. To me, at least, I think it shows up some of the 16-bit versions. It shows up the Mega Drive version for sure. That's probably on the fact that they didn't try on the Mega Drive version. But anyway, so Thunderblade was released in the arcades by Sega in 1987. It's kind of based on Blue Thunder. A rogue state invades America. And unlike its other sprite scaling games at the time, it had two systems. It had one flying into the screen, but because it was slower, it liked to stack the sprites upon each other in such a way that they looked really, really solid and really 3D. And then you had top-down levels where you could go to the floor and back up because of stacked sprites. I still think it looks incredibly impressive. So this was released by US Gold in 1988. I still remember, I think it was Crash Magazine that had a demo of it, but don't quote me on that, because I remember their big fat Christmas special issue that had Thunderblade on the cover with their amazing artwork. Now, it was developed by, but don't shit your pants immediately, Teartex, because we know Teartex aren't known for their quality. Excuse me, that's my gruff helicopter clearing his throat voice. This really does replicate the arcade. Now, again, sorry, altitude makes me clear my throat, or maybe the fact that I've just got up. It's the controls are alright. I'm going to play it on Kempston because, whatever reason, for emulation, this is the 48K version. There is a 128K version, but that doesn't want to work because it hates me. See that bottom left hand corner? There's your speed. When we get into the game, pressing forward will take you to the floor, at least in the top down stage. Pressing back will make you climb. Then you got left and right, and then if you press fire, your Vulcans kick in at the same time as your rockets. But then to accelerate, you have to hold fire down and press forward. Sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? It is, until then. If you start hammering fire and trying to move around the screen, then you kind of screw around with your acceleration. So, like I said, it takes getting used to, and it can be done, but I haven't played this in a while. So I'm probably just gonna not just like take the moral high ground, literally take the high ground and just accelerate and then just move to try and avoid stuff. You'll see what I mean. Right, let's get into it. So you start off on the floor. It's monochromic, as you would expect. Now look at that. Is that not cool? Weak sound effects. Press fire, hold forward down, move. You can go down, you can go up, you got your tanks and stuff, and I got shot because I'm crap. But hopefully you're getting that for the 48K version, what they've done here is absolutely phenomenal. Basically, stay at the same pitch, and then once you've got your accelerate, move left and right to avoid the fire. And then if you can try and lean away from the directions up and down on the pad, you are able to fire. I think this looks really, really nice. I know I've got Spectrum vintage goggles, everyone says that, but this looks really, really nice. And the monochromic suits it, it really, really does. Then we go into the screen. So it didn't shy away, but you lose your speed though. It didn't shy away from, now I need to try and accelerate without getting shot. Did not shy away from trying to replicate that first stage, which other systems did. I mean, the PC Engine is probably the best console port, but even that didn't stack sprites. It stacked them, but you could not zoom up and down in the play area. So the fact that they've achieved this on a 48K Spectrum, especially since it's Teartex, is not to sniff your nose at. don't know why I used that descriptive term then, but I did. Sorry. Like I said, sounds weak. I mean, I think I had the 128K version back in the day because I had the disc version, which was $12.99. $12.99 in 1988. That's a lot of bloody pocket money. So your tanks, your sprites look like the arcade game? This is a phenomenal achievement. This really is. Will I get to the canyon? I don't know. Ooh, hello. Now, as you can see, it is a multi-loader, and try as I did, as much as I can, I could not get the second stage to load in. So I'm just going to go through the first one again, but let's be honest, in these comparison videos, particularly because of the way the controls are done in this, and I'm not used to them yet, don't generally get off the first stage, and even if I did with one life, what you're going to see. But this first stage really shows what it is doing on the Spectrum, especially now, since we know for sure that it's a 48K version. Joystick speed control. Let's try that again and see if I can get through it again, and then we jump into the Commodore 64 version. But I cannot tell you, what I can tell you, I'm about to tell you what good reviews this got on the Spectrum back in the day. And you know, if you didn't grow up with the Spectrum, you probably look at it and thinking, meh, but trust me, this is one hell of a technical achievement, right? And then fire. Oh, and then accelerate, and then move. Move like your Blue Thunder biatches. I always thought Blue Thunder could take Airwolf. Yeah, I'm going there. It's the 80s. We all wanted to know who would win in these fights. Could Street Hawk take Knight Rider? Could the Dukes of Hazzard take the Fall Guy? And was the Blonde Bird in the Fall Guy fitter than Daisy Duke and Dukes of Hazzard? These are all important questions we need to know. Like I said, if you can kind of keep yourself away from up and down, then, and just, it's difficult on a D-pad for sure, concentrate on left and right, then your speed stays up, apart from that, and you've got to be off the ground obviously. It's a helicopter before you can accelerate, but yeah, it's all about staying away, which I don't know, would it have been easier on a quick shot? I sincerely doubt it, but yeah, this blows my mind of what an achievement this is, because look at the way it moves. Maybe because you can stop and stuff like that, they got to do stuff differently than your average sort of rip off, you know, faked sprite scale on such limited hardware. This looks the dog's dangly bits. Can I go over that building? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, and obviously stationary Mega Drive, man, the Mega Drive version does look better, there's no doubt about that, but it doesn't, with this superior hardware, it doesn't even attempt to do this, and that to me is shocking. And the PC Engine is my favourite home port, and that looks amazing, and it stacks sprites, at least in the top-down stage. But it doesn't even try and do this. And yeah, I mean, on a 48K Spectrum, wow. Anyway, let's jump in to, I'm just flying on the spot, the Commodore 64 version, methinks. But I'm impressed the hell out of this. Yoink. Oh. Oh. So here we go, this is Thunderblade on the Commodore 64. I haven't played this in ages, but I think it's safe to say this is probably going to be the more impressive port, but we'll hold our breath on that, because obviously with this being the 64 version and a disc ROM and obviously having the extra 16K of memory, this isn't going to limit us to stage one. So think about you know, this comparison would have been concentrated on stage one. I wish I could do more of it, but the limited hardware I run these things on, because I tried this on my Vega and it failed again, getting past the first load of the ZX Spectrum. So that's kind of annoying. Maybe I should have found out if I could have a hacked ROM. But looking at the bottom of the screen, you can see you've also got speed. That's controllable on a different button. Tells you the stage. Bottom right tells you your score. Bottom left plays in the same manner that you have to hold a button down to accelerate or decelerate while using a separate button to fire. But because it's got two buttons, maybe because I'm playing this on emulation, I'm not playing this on my C64 Mini because I did not want to even go there with the joystick on this game. But this should still be quite interesting to do a comparison. There we go. Not sure what the deal with Pepsi is, and also obviously it's going to have loads more colour and in-game music. No sound effects. I would have heard sound effects, but what is the deal with Pepsi? I don't remember that from the arcade. I mean, I don't know, is that some sort of Mandela effect going on? It starts you off, this is a better thing, it starts you off with a certain number points. It gives you some acceleration, so if you want to, you don't have to worry about that, but you pull up, it's got the same effect. It's a bit too fast for me. Let's see if we can slow that. No, that's speed up. And then it defaults to the normal one, missiles, rockets, I'll tell you what, maybe because I'm going faster, it's a lot easier than the Spectrum. I just got shot in the face. It's still impressive. It's still doing something that, you know, like the Mega Drive and the PC Engine didn't do. But, my God, it's jarring. Yes, it's got colour, and I know people accuse me of being a Spectrum, or favouritism of the Spectrum, but it's a lot smoother on the Spectrum. Maybe because it is slow, I don't know. But then you've got to remember, Thunderblade, even when you accelerate in the arcade, wasn't known for being a balls-fast game. That was part of its charm. But yeah, this is still impressive. This is still really impressive, but it's a bit too choppy for me. And I can't go any slower, so that would be my default speed. This is fast, too fast for me. It feels more like Afterburner than it does Thunderblade. Yeah, there's more going on the screen, not a lot more. You know, it's impressive, but the buildings do not feel solid. I preferred them on the Spectrum, the way they stacked it. I guess it's not that much easier. The way they stacked it on the Spectrum was a lot more impressive to me. It made them feel a lot more solid. So yeah, you got great music, got no sound effects. I would have preferred sound effects over music, not just because the Spectrum, that's all it had, but I don't know, it feels a little unpolished. We're going to go with the default speed. Let's see if I get some up and down motion. Yeah, I mean, it's still impressive, but that's choppy and jarring, and I don't like that. Is it a frame rate thing? I don't know. I mean, as always, I'd love to know what you think. If you had this on the Commodore back in the day and played it on the Spectrum, which did you prefer? But I'm not honestly being a fanboy. I find whether it is obviously your sprites and their sprites and stuff like that aren't as nice, but the way it goes up and down is giving me travel sickness. That was better on the Spectrum. I'm not sure why the road's so small. Locks you in there so you can't go up and down. That again, fast, yes, but then look at the buildings. Those buildings there, they are like on the Mega Drive. How would we be totally honest? I think the Master System's more impressive than the Mega Drive. It tries. Yeah, I do not like that building effect. We've got trees, I like that. I'm guessing it's not going to put the canyons in. Because, well, it didn't on the Spectrum, that probably would have been a bit too much. But yeah, this is still impressive. This is still nice and impressive. It's clearly Thunderblade, and I probably would have been over the moon with this if all I had was a Commodore 64 back in the day. I don't like the way it's done the buildings, or the fact that I can't fly over the top of a tree. I guess that just has to stay in the middle, doesn't it? Hit the one in the middle, points to the quote. So obviously you're going to see a little bit of bonus here, because I never got to this bit on the Spectrum. This should be interesting. Okay, that's nice and cool. That's nice and impressive. I'm assuming this was tier text as well. I don't honestly know, to be honest. It didn't, give me a loading screen. To be fair, you didn't see on the Spectrum, but trust me, it was tier text. This is cool. Yeah, do you know what? This is nice and impressive, but I'm going to say this, I just don't think it's, I know it's, chalk and cheese and it's what you preferred back in the day, because you probably would have preferred this style if you grew up with a Commodore than the way it was on the Spectrum, and it was slower, but I'm sorry, for less memory, the Spectrum version is technically far more impressive, and the solidness of the way it fakes the 3D sprite scaling is really impressive, and especially the way it does the solidness when you fly into the screen, but then the smoothness when you fly up and down. Obviously, again, I only did the first level on the Spectrum and I got shot to buggery, but yeah, I mean, I can imagine it would do this reasonably well, because it would have, sharper definition of just be monochromic, but I mean, this is cool, don't get me wrong, I'm not rubbish in it, I'm just going to say, technically the Spectrum is more impressive for what it does, and it does it, would I say better? Well, I would say better, but I certainly would say smoother. The up and down motion, very nice, very smooth. It's just jagged on this, and the into the screen, the fact that it gives you solid blocks, like the Mega Drive and the PC Engine didn't even come close to that, so that's really impressive. So I'm going to round up now, even though I'm playing a level right now you never got to see on the Spectrum. They are both very, very, very impressive ports of an arcade machine. They should not be able to touch. Kudos for the fact that, ZX tried to replicate the arcade when, like I said, the console versions didn't with the stacking of sprites, but the Spectrum has it simply because when you fly into the screen, it's doing it there as well. It's giving you solid looking buildings, not just flat pictures that move by you Harry clappers. So, whether you agree or not, I'm going to say in this conversion, Playground Wars, I think the Spectrum has it. I really do. I wish I could have showed you more of it, but then ultimately I'm not that good at it. Like I said, that's one thing that Commodore does win out on. I like the way it gives you default speed. It seems to understand that the controls would be an issue. You can change the speed, and I guess because I've got 2 buttons, whether that's an emulated thing or not, I don't know. It means it's not as difficult to juggle your speed in the game when you're trying to go up and down, although that said, I think the fact that it gives me a default speed is just, can I accelerate on this bit? No, I can. That's a good, I guess, an intermediate way to start the game. So anyway, as always, I'd love to know what you think. Thunderblade and ZX Spectrum versus the Commodore 64. I'm sorry, I don't mean to start wars. Oh wait, no, yes I do, because that's the point of these videos. I gotta say, for the limited bit I played, I've got to give it to the Spectrum. Not by a massive landslide, but, I've got to give it to the Spectrum. Okay, that's cool. Anyway, as always, I love to know what you think. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.